Hello, I'm Catherine, and Brian's not behind the camera today. We wanted to do a video where we both get to hang out with you, and thank you for helping us reach 25,000 subscribers. So we thought we would do another top 10 video and share with you our favorite recipes for once the weather starts getting colder outside, the leaves start falling, and cozy meals are what it's all about.
Some good comfort food.
Many of these top 10 vegan fall recipes are heavy hitters that we know a lot of you love, but we're gonna toss in a few that we make all the time and we think you need to know about.
Hidden gems on the know.
In the know?
Is that what it is?
I don't know what on the know is.
Let's start.
So we're starting with breakfast. Carrot cake oatmeal. We tend to have oatmeal almost every morning, unless it's the weekend, where we'll have tofu scrambles or pancakes or crepes or an omelet, a chickpea omelet or something.
Chickpea omelet, yeah.
But once the weather starts getting colder outside, we start craving more autumnal flavors in our oats. So this carrot cake oatmeal is a fantastic one to sneak some veggies into your breakfast as well. In our carrot cake, do we have a video specifically on carrot cake oats?
I think it's a video on warm cinnamon apples.
So in the warm cinnamon apples video, I give you a tip about how to shred carrots and freeze them to make it really easy to just break off a piece in the morning. Once again, the freezer adds extra convenience to our morning. So when you're shredding carrots, shred some extra, put them in a freezer bag, and use the back of a knife or the edge of a spoon to make a little cross in the bag. And when you go to get your frozen shredded carrot, that division that you made makes it so much easier to just break off a piece. Look at this. It's like I know what I'm talking about. And the warm cinnamon apples are definitely kind of the icing on the cake, although the dollop of coconut yogurt is sort of more of a nod to icing on these carrot cake oatmeals.
Two icings on the cake.
Yeah. The apples are a must, I would say. Don't skip those.
Yeah.
Toasting your nuts is also an amazing way to just infuse your oats with a more kind of fall cozy flavor. Start using those fall spices too. I think I use like cinnamon and cardamom. Oh, and steel cut oats. Yeah, that one's steel cut oats, which are a nice way to change up. We usually use quick oats, but steel cut oats are a little chewier, a little heartier, so they feel even more kind of warm and comforting in the fall.
Yum. Number 2, right? That's what we're on?
Yeah, we just started, so if we can count to 2, that's...
1, 2, got it. Number 2 is our ginger turmeric tonic, which is a constant. It's always in our fridge in the cold, wintry, rainy months.
If you're someone who likes buying kind of cold busting teas or ginger shots when you're starting to feel under the weather, then this one will save you a little bit of money. In that video, I think we say that the concentrate costs us under $1. So basically you make a big batch of concentrate where you boil ginger, turmeric, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and cinnamon. And then once you have this, I think it just boils for maybe a half hour. And once you have that big concentrate, every time you go to make a mug of tea, you just use a 1/4 cup of that concentrate, add some lemon juice, and then top it off with water.
Great way to start your day if you got like a sore throat or you're just feeling a little icky or you want to get out ahead of it.
You know you're gonna be around lots of family for Christmas or something, you just start pounding that tonic, get some immune boosting spices into you.
Or something, and you just gonna blitz this before and yeah.
And there's some good tips in that one too about freezing ginger and turmeric. If you buy those roots, they'll often go bad before you can use them all if you just keep them in your pantry, but store them in your freezer, and then they're super easy to just grate into recipes like this or leave them out on the counter for 2 minutes and you can slice them because you can put the peel into what you're making as well as long as you give it a rinse before you freeze it.
That drink makes me think about this drink, which you probably look at this beautiful yellow golden milk latte with turmeric, good for also kicking bugs and stuff. There's ginger in here too?
Yep, ginger, cinnamon, turmeric, and a little bit of sweetener if you want.
What other warm drinks do we like in the fall?
Pumpkin spice latte.
Oh yeah. Well.
If you're into fall beverages, then you don't always have to take a trip to Starbucks or your local coffee shop. Some of these you can make at home and they'll save you a few bucks.
Soup? is number 3.
In the fall, we start craving all of the warm, comforting soups. One that is very well loved by many is the Curried Butternut Squash Soup. Both of our mothers have publicly approved this one.
Mom approved.
We know that our families make it a lot, friends make a lot, we make it a lot. It's ready in less than 30 minutes. I love roasting squash, but sometimes I don't always feel like roasting squash before I blend it into a soup. So this one's great because you just chop up your butternut squash and you toss it raw into the soup. And just with really simple spices, there's some curry powder in there, within 30 minutes, your soup is done. While Brian chews, I'll keep talking. We have a butternut squash red lentil soup, which is also really delicious and gets a ton of protein in there because of the lentils. So it's a little bit heartier if you're a soup as a meal kind of person. And our carrot ginger soup is another great one for the fall with all of those kind of healing feelings that ginger gives you.
I think what we also love about soup season is all the things that you make soups with. You can use the skins and the seeds, like butternut squash, which we're big proponents of. Zero waste. Everything gets used.
And it makes for a really pretty topping too. So if you're serving it for a get-together, you can use the seeds and the skin and put a little nice garnish on it.
Makes for a great conversation starter at a party.
Yeah, where they're like, are there seeds in here? And you're like,
Did you put the skin on this soup?
Number 4 is breads.
Bread could be probably on any list of
It could, but
any
especially in
season.
the fall.
Summer bread, fall bread, winter bread, spring breads.
When we started having all of our comforting soups and stews and chilies, then having a little bit of bread on the side just helps to make it feel a little more filling and makes me really happy. One quick bread that we make all the time in the fall is our kid-approved cornbread. It's kid-approved because it was a hit with our nieces and nephews.
It was, yeah.
And the extra little bit of sweetness that's in cornbread, I think, is what kind of does it for them and makes it a little more appealing and gets some cornmeal into them and us.
But it pairs really well with chili, and we haven't had that yet this fall.
I think it's a 20-minute prep time and about 40 minutes in the oven. But if you're making something like chili and you can do both at the same time, have it baking in the oven while you're making something on the stovetop, and it's soft and pillowy and just really delicious.
So good.
We do have one more quick bread that we make a lot in the fall, and it's the Irish soda bread. That recipe, I think the title is 45 minutes. There's 45 minutes in there.
Maybe.
So, as the title suggests, you can have bread on your table in 45 minutes.
This is great. This is a good thing.
It's a pretty rustic, hearty loaf. And I think the recipe on the blog, I use both whole wheat and white flour, but most of the time when I make it for us, I just use all whole wheat flour, and it's very rustic.
It's delicious, and it pairs really well. We have an Irish Guinness stew, which you could leave the Guinness out. You don't have to have it in there. But that rustic bread with that stew, you feel like you're medieval times eating stuff. It feels really good.
To abide by Irish tradition, poke each quadrant with your knife to let the fairies out. You need to keep the fairies happy. They don't want to be baked. You see them too, right?
Number 5 is one of my all-time favorite recipes of yours, and I'm pretty sure it's also mother approved as well. My mom made it just recently when we were home for us. I think your mom and dad make it quite a bit. It's our tofu butter chicken.
With some roti on the side.
Yeah,
so
bread.
I'm going to sneak another little quick bread in there.
Basically, most recipes are just a way to like, what bread can you pair this with?
I don't buy bread very often, but it's nice to have these few really quick breads in your arsenal.
And there's just something extremely powerful about making your own bread, and you're like,
It does.
I have made bread.
But this butter chicken, like you said, is definitely a favorite among a lot of our family and friends. We know a lot of you love it. It's all made in one pan. So I worked for a while on this recipe to try to make it as easy as possible with tofu. So you can watch that video to see how I get that creaminess in there, but still make it a really simple to prepare recipe that can be on your table in 30 minutes.
Yeah, easy. And the roti is only 2 ingredients, right?
Yeah, it's 2 ingredients. It's so easy to make. It rests for just 30 minutes. So usually I prep the roti dough, have it rest while I make the curry, and then just cook up the roti right before we serve it.
And it's so fun to watch it puff up.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it can be a little finicky and doesn't always puff, but still tastes great.
Yeah, it's still delicious. But that's kind of the fun, the challenge of the recipe, if you can really get it to fluff up. This is like our fall go-to.
Yeah, good in a pinch.
Number 6
Number 6
is creamy pasta.
I mean, this is amazing. This list is good.
It's also what makes me just really happy. Creamy pastas in the fall. So one of our favorite creamy pastas to make all the time in the fall is our spicy beet pasta.
And it's just so fun. Like, look at that color. It's amazing.
Roasted beets are something that we have in our fridge all the time, pretty much all year round. Even just for the 2 of us, I'll buy a 10-pound bag of beets, roast them all at once, and then just dice them up and freeze them. We just thaw a few for this pasta. What else do we use it in? Borscht, salads, even smoothies.
And we have a video on how to roast beets, so if you're like, I don't know how to do that, it seems really difficult, we got a video that walks you through the whole process. Nice and easy. It's a great little meal prep idea. We got beets in the freezer right now.
If beets are a vegetable that you're wanting to experiment more with, then we love them. So we've got some recipes for you.
Chocolate beet smoothie, it'll blow your mind. Beets and peanut butter and chocolate are really
surprisingly delicious. Because the beets have some sweetness. So the spicy mushroom topping on this pasta kind of balances out that sweetness, and it's a really nice touch.
Yeah.
And it's made creamy from cashews. So there's cashews blended into the sauce, which makes it really luxurious tasting. If you are a comfort food creamy pasta person, then speaking of cashews, check out our cashew mac and cheese as well. That's another one that we make often in the fall.
Yeah, it's so good.
And we even have a pumpkin pasta recipe too.
Yeah, but super easy with pumpkin puree. But that mac and cheese is, I'm
Getting you hungry? I can tell.
So number 7 is another main dish that I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it might be one of my favorite recipes you've ever created. It's the Fesenjan. It's so good with jackfruit. It's amazing. We've made it for friends coming over. It's such a classy, pretty, fun, interesting dish that's so different. I love it.
When we decided we would do this type of video, Brian was like, the Fesenjan needs to be on this list.
I think if you're looking to try something really different, like a really good jackfruit sort of stew on a bed of barley with pomegranates mixed in it, it's really pretty. It's definitely not traditional. I think the traditional is with lamb or chicken.
Yeah, so it's an Iranian stew that is usually some sort of poultry. It's a stew that's made with pomegranate molasses and walnuts, and then there's some orange in there, and there's cinnamon and warming spices.
It's specific. It's got some ingredients that you're not going to use all the time, but I think it's just a great special occasion kind of dish. Be a great date night dinner.
It's kind of like making risotto. I find like sometimes for like a Valentine's Day or something, I'll make risotto. So you're gonna be standing over top of your stove for a little while, like you do with risotto. If you make the pomegranate molasses from scratch, which I usually do, and it tastes so much better when I do. You can find bottled pomegranate molasses though in some international food sections of your grocery store. So that cuts down the prep time huge, and then this actually becomes a very quick recipe. I've noticed Costco even has pomegranate juice.
Yes,
lately for the last couple of years.
So you can use that.
Yeah, so basically you just reduce that for, I don't know if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it makes a thick syrup, and it's so delicious.
Speaking of risotto too, just to go back to that, you do have a recipe for risotto. It's delicious, and there is a special ingredient in it. It's tahini to give it that extra creamy protein kick. It's delicious. Do you want to see a video for that? I do. I could eat that again. I think that'd be a fun thing to do for our 5-year anniversary, which by the way is coming up in a couple months.
Let us know in the comments if you want to see a risotto recipe. Number 8, and I don't think we could have gone much longer in this top 10 without bringing up a pumpkin recipe. These cute little pumpkin pie parfaits are individual servings, so they're perfect for making ahead. If you're hosting or if you just like having some dessert in the fridge, then make a bunch of these and you'll have them for the next 6 days. The crust that I make is kind of a granola that's gluten-free, just made from oats and nuts and spiced, and then it's repurposed to make the cute little pie-shaped cookies.
And fun fact about these little pumpkin pie parfaits, they came out of a failed pie experiment by you. So just stick with it. There's always, you can make something out of it. And a crumbled up pie that didn't hold its shape can just be put in cute little mason jars and make parfait.
Yeah, I think I was just struggling to make a healthy-ish pumpkin pie.
Yeah,
and
I didn't like seeing you like that. So
Brian was like, just stop. Just try making something else.
It's not worth it. No pie is worth crying over.
So the pumpkin mousse you can make really quickly in your blender with pumpkin puree and coconut cream, and that's what makes it really thick and delicious. And then you can use some leftover coconut cream to make my 5-minute coconut whip, and that goes on top. If you're making them ahead, then you can compile all those layers, put it in the fridge, and just before you serve, you can put that little cute pie-shaped cookie on top.
Like you said, great for hosting a party. Everybody gets their own little thingy. And
especially if you're hosting a party where you have another dessert for most people and you have a few people who might be dairy-free or annoying vegans or, you know, we've got to get rid of the stigma of the annoying vegan. But if you want to include everyone, then you can have these made as little individual desserts and you can do it ahead of time.
what's the next one?
The next one's another dessert. Can you guess what it is?
Oh,
Dessert-ish.
dessert-ish.
Yeah, you could have it for breakfast, you can have it for lunch, you could have it for dinner, snacks, desserts. No, not yet.
I'm at a loss. Pancakes?
Sweet potato bread.
Oh, sweet potato bread. Sorry, I didn't know. That's a good one.
I haven't made that one in a little while.
Yeah.
Because we're just getting into fall season.
But Catherine made the sweet potato bread last year, and I took it into the office where I work, and people wasn't any left, which I was okay with because we've eaten a lot of it for tests. But yeah, Tyler loved it. He just.
Yeah, I think I even made a couple loaves, maybe.
I think so.
I think I brought a second one in because it was like gone after.
He took some to the airport as he was leaving.
And this sweet potato bread is perfect for fall if you like making banana bread. What basically happened was I had a whole bunch of mashed sweet potato in the fridge that had to be used. I wondered if I could take my banana bread recipe and swap out the bananas for sweet potatoes. The result was so delicious that it became a recipe of its own.
Just like the pumpkin pie parfait. You took something, you ran with it, and look what you ended up with. Boom, sweet potato bread.
I'm really proud of that one because it's oil-free. It uses no refined sugars. There's like warm autumnal spices in there. You're getting a vegetable in there. The glaze on top is the indulgent part of it, but even without that additional glaze, it's really fluffy and absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I forgot all about that recipe. It's so good. So many good ones on here. We've reached the end. Number 10.
It's our puffed rice granola bars.
I've already had 2.
Yeah,
They're great.
I haven't had any yet, so I'll have some. This is a recipe that's always in the top searches on our blog. If you haven't tried this yet, then fall is a great time to do so because there's dried cranberries in here, pumpkin seeds, there's toasted almonds, usually I didn't put them in this time, and there's cinnamon. They're just great for this time of year to have on hand and take with you on the road, have in your fridge for when you need a little afternoon boost.
And they're a nice, healthier version at this time of year when a lot of snacks and stuff are pretty sweet and indulgent.
Everything's held together in these by peanut butter and some maple syrup and applesauce. So they're oil-free. I find a big difference. I've been eating a lot of granola bars lately. Not a lot, but more than I usually eat because I've been working away from home in Vancouver. And so many granola bars that I eat just taste like air. And they're just kind of dry and don't really taste like anything.
So these ones don't taste like air.
No, and I'm actually like satiated after eating these.
Yeah, it's got good stuff in it.
Sometimes with packaged granola bars, I don't feel like I really ate anything at all.
And I think these, I can't remember what they cost, but I remember being like, there's no way making granola bars at home would be more cost effective than buying them out. And I was wrong. These are much cheaper.
These are really good.
And especially if you're buying, healthy granola bars. Definitely worth it. These are great. We've been making them for years now, really.
Yeah.
And they freeze really well.
And although I use peanut butter in these, because that's usually what we have on hand, there's toasted almonds in here. So you could use almond butter, or if you have to make them school safe, then a sunflower butter will work perfectly. We actually have a comment, Elaine, you'll have to tell me if you've tried these with almond butter yet, because I know that they were wanting to try almond butter for themselves.
These granola bars have had so many great comments from Elaine and people like Elaine. We just keep getting so many great, really positive comments. They're just really warms your heart.
All of your encouragement and all of your support, your commenting, your sharing, your liking of the videos, just really helps to keep us us going.
So keep commenting and keep telling us what you want to see, like the risotto, maybe. Is there another kind of video you want to see? Another recipe you want to see? What are your comfort, fall, autumnal foods? You drop that word in there so smoothly. I feel like it doesn't
Nice,
roll.
autumnal.
Autumnal. Another good Scrabble word.
Thank you so much for watching, and hit that subscribe button if you're new here and you want to see more from us and join this lovely community that is now 25,000 strong.
Heyo!
How many of these have you
Now,
had?
I've had 2 granola bars, pizza bite. What do you, come on, they're healthy.